I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend.
The internet has been buzzing nonstop, and at the center of it all is a moment that nobody saw coming, a moment that instantly turned whispers into full-blown speculation. Just days after rumors about J.D. Vance and his wife Usha began circulating, a video surfaced from a Turning Point USA event at the University of Mississippi. On that stage, in front of a live audience, Erika Kirk stepped forward and J.D. Vance opened his arms. What happened next sent every platform into a frenzy. The hug between J.D. Vance and Erika wasn't a quick greeting or a polite embrace. It was long, emotional, and surprisingly intimate. Cameras captured Erika wrapping her arms tightly around him, her hand briefly resting in his hair, while JD's hands were placed firmly around her waist. The moment was tender, expressive, and to many viewers, completely unexpected. Within minutes, clips of that hug spread across social media, fueling rumors that were already gaining momentum. And it wasn't just the hug itself. It was what Erika said moments later that turned a simple embrace into the most talked about political moment of the week. Standing beside JD, she told the audience, "No one will ever replace my husband, but I do see some similarities of my husband in JD." It was the kind of line that, once heard, couldn't easily be forgotten. Suddenly, the online conversation wasn't just about the rumors surrounding J.D. Vance and his marriage. Now it was about Erika, her words, her hug, her connection to the story. But before that moment went viral, Erika's name wasn't even part of the rumor. The original speculation focused only on J.D. Vance and his wife Usha, with vague posts claiming there was tension between them. At first, it looked like the usual political gossip that blows over within a day. But once the hug surfaced, Erika became the center of a narrative she never asked to be part of. People began digging. Old interviews resurfaced. Photos of her speaking at events alongside various public figures began circulating again. Clips that had nothing to do with J.D. Vance were clipped, edited, and stitched together to create what looked like a bigger story. The algorithm latched onto it all, pushing Erika's name into every timeline and every search box. Even people who had never heard of her were suddenly seeing her face next to J.D. Vance in thumbnails and headlines. Behind the scenes, Erika initially remained silent. Her social media comments were filling fast with questions, assumptions, and theories. Some people were angry, some were confused, and others were simply curious. But one thing was clear: everyone wanted an explanation. She had gone from being a respected media figure to being the unexpected third name in a trending political rumor. And it all hinged on a hug that, depending on who you asked, meant nothing or meant everything. Meanwhile, commentary channels jumped into the conversation, posting videos with dramatic titles and ambiguous captions. They replayed the embrace frame by frame, zooming in on the placement of JD's hands or the way Erika leaned into him. Each tiny detail became fuel for speculation. Even creators who admitted they had no idea what was happening still posted videos because the topic was exploding. Online culture loves a storyline, and this moment offered one that felt too dramatic to ignore. But as the noise grew louder, Erika finally decided to address the situation. Her response wasn't emotional or defensive. Instead, it was calm, direct, and focused on the truth. She made it clear that her hug with J.D. Vance had been misinterpreted, and that the comments she made afterward came from a place of admiration, not intimacy. She explained that comparing J.D. to her late husband was meant as a compliment, not an insinuation. And most importantly, she emphasized that the rumors connecting her to J.D.'s personal life were simply false. Her statement didn't deny the hug. She didn't pretend it didn't happen, nor did she try to minimize what people saw. Instead, she contextualized it. The embrace, in her words, was a moment of human vulnerability, two people with shared values expressing warmth during an emotional event. Nothing more, nothing less. She shut down the speculation without attacking anyone or feeding into the drama. The response surprised many viewers. People expected defensiveness or frustration, but what they got was clarity. And once Erika spoke, a large portion of the audience accepted her explanation. Comments shifted from suspicion to sympathy, with many people apologizing for jumping to conclusions or letting a moment on stage spiral into something that didn't reflect reality. But of course, some corners of the internet weren't ready to let go. There were still users dissecting her words, insisting the hug looked too emotional, or arguing that her tone said more than the statement itself. In today's online landscape, once a rumor reaches a certain point, it becomes nearly impossible to kill completely. Some viewers prefer the dramatic version of events, even if the facts say otherwise. Still, the real intrigue lies in how fast the entire situation escalated. It began with unrelated rumors about JD and Usha, then came the hug, then came Erika's quote. And within 24 hours, those three ingredients became one unified story, a story that spread faster than any official statement could keep up with. It's a reminder of how quickly narratives form today, often without evidence or context. The hug between Erika Kirk and JD Vance didn't need to be scandalous to become viral. It just needed to exist. The internet did the rest. Context was replaced with speculation. Familiarity was mistaken for intimacy, and admiration was twisted into implication. And even after Erika addressed everything, the clip of that moment continued circulating because it was dramatic, emotional, and visually powerful. People shared it not because they believed the rumors, but because it felt like something significant. Yet, at the end of the day, the truth remains simple. The hug happened, yes, but it did not confirm anything about JD Vance's marriage, nor did it suggest a hidden relationship between Erika and the senator. It was a human moment in a highly public environment, magnified by a culture that thrives on turning every interaction into a storyline. As JD and Usha continue to remain silent about the rumors surrounding their own relationship, the lack of comment only adds another layer of intrigue to an already messy situation. But none of that changes the reality that Erika was pulled into a narrative she never intended to be part of. And by speaking up, she reclaimed control of her name, reminding everyone that a single viral clip shouldn't be treated like undeniable truth. The internet loves drama, but sometimes the simplest explanation is the real one. A hug is just a hug, and the meaning the world assigns to it says far more about us than it does about the people in the video.